welcome back to another episode of Procrastination Podcast. We're talking about anime life and everything in between. My name's Matt,
I'm Robert.
I'm Alonzo.
and we got another good episode here for you. Anime-based episode. Got some anime shirts. I switched shirts just for the podcast. Dedication. Robert has his. Alonzo has his in spirit. He has one that I think
offensive shirt.
Very offensive. We're trying our best not to get canceled these days. So we'll keep that off air. But yeah, we got a nice topic here today. But before that, how's everybody doing?
Good. I did a lot of work today. I actually walked around and got up and hey, this is why I was hired. Okay. I know some things. Somebody called me today. It was like, Robert, you're the lead on this project, right? You know about this. I was like,
I am. You are. Look at you.
Right.
You know the name is podcast though, right? You're not living up to the podcast. Keep up for being productive.
Right. Definitely not procrastinating today. All right. I did work from home and did a lot of not work today also. So
good.
Yeah.
Nice.
My namesake.
Good.
I finished school. I procrastinated on 7 assignments. I didn't turn those in, but I still got an A+ in the class. So I'm done with my master's. Next thing of business, I got an interview on Friday with the company. So I'm going to see how that goes. So things are looking up for Alonzo, I guess.
Let's
see how
go.
Nice.
I think it deserves a clap. I think that deserves plenty of claps. Man.
The clap.
Yeah. Big time. Love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, congrats to this guy. This guy's awesome.
I'm not.
He is though. He's just shy. Anyway, so
what you up to?
Me though, I didn't have to work today, but I did have to study. So I did actually do a little bit of studying. Worked out. Did a lot of stuff the last couple of days. Recovered from ailment. So again, fighting through for the podcast, But yeah, I mean, didn't do that much till we got up here, but just did a little studying, did a little bit of work, still trying to do better with that. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be fine. We'll get through it. But I think it still have these moments where we just want to get away from it all, especially when things are super busy. And I think that's the appeal of anime like isekai. Is just like that feeling of wanting to get away, and sometimes you can make that happen yourself. You go on vacation and blah blah. But sometimes it's just not enough. You just want to go somewhere totally obscure and different from anything you could possibly know, or anyone that knows you could possibly know. And sometimes that's just what you want and what you kind of feel like you need, and that's what isekai appeal is, in my opinion. But today's topic is talking about all these tropes that are kind of, done a lot, and how we kind of feel about them. And I think isekai is the one that divides opinion, especially recently. I personally really loved isekai, especially at the kind of like the start of this peak of isekais dropping. But I think, like with a lot of things, too much of a good thing can become not so good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like, it seems that sometimes, and it's rare that, well, I won't say it's rare, but it's like rare lately that they can do it well, right? Like they can make an isekai and it's bringing something novel, right? Bringing something new to the table and like refreshing us on how this can be done and not feel like the same overlay every single time. It's like, and I guess that's also the point. Like we want to go to a different world, right? It's like if every world's going to doing the exact same thing, are we going to a different world? It's like, all right, yeah, hey, magical things, slimes. How many freaking slime anime I'm watching, isekais now? I'm like, There has to be like, 50 of them. Like, all
Too
right,
many,
I'm
for sure.
I'm I'm not
For
not
the
doing
least interesting creature in fantasy.
it.
And I get that's the
That's the appeal,
appeal,
right?
making something not interesting at all into something interesting, which, you know, certain anime, do it really, really well, and I think, a lot of these are manga first. I don't really know personally which one technically came first, you know, but obviously we know, like, the one we saw first was I mean, I forget what the name is in English. It's like Tensei something. I don't remember what it's called. What's it called in English? I don't remember what it's called
That
in English.
that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah, there it is. That's it. Yeah, Kagari credits exactly. But yeah, and that's like the first one we saw, and that one was executed very well, and
Legit.
very, very well, and even until the most recent season, very, very well. Spinoff is its own thing, but the rest of it, very, very well done, and I don't think anyone had an issue with it. But then, like Robert said, it just like people just kept like, oh, this was successful. So my manga that it was based off this same thing that is loosely based on slimes too. There you go, more slimes. And I'm like, okay, I guess you can do that, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be good. Like, was your manga even good? I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I think one of them, I can't remember what it was called, honestly, but it was also like a slime based one. They met it's more recent. The release, I think it was like maybe 2 seasons ago, where the dude like is a tamer of slimes, and the manga of that is actually really good, really enjoyable. I enjoyed it a lot, but the anime was terrible. It was not good at all. They did not like the animation itself looked okay, but the way that, oh my god, the pacing, the story, everything else was just terrible. I was like, this, and it doesn't match. I mean, it literally skips like 10 chapters or something crazy, like a lot of chapters before the first episode of the anime. It just skips it. Doesn't give any explanation or backstory. It just skips all of it. It just goes into this first episode. I'm just like, if I didn't know the manga, I would be totally lost. Like, and again, this is terrible. So yeah, I don't know, and I don't know if that's the rush to try and like get to that point of like, we're different too. We're the same thing, same enough that we want you to watch us for the same reasons you watched, Tommy got reincarnated as a slime, but we're still different. So watch us and get to see this big action scene we're going to throw at you episode one, even if we're going to execute it super poorly. I'm like, okay, like, but you could just tell your story, and your story is actually good, and do it well and animate it well instead of just trying to jump to the main action points in your anime. Anyway, that's just the one anime that really disappointed me, honestly. Which, if you can't tell,
Lonzo,
um,
so you feeling the same pain with Isekai?
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they are so derivative, and they just, I mean, they come up with these fantastical title names, like 10, 20 words in one title, try to distinguish themselves. It's just a waste of time, honestly. And then, you know, yeah, they're just not original anymore. I don't think. Um, there was one show called Aristocrat from Underworld, was an assassin or something like that. I thought that was pretty original. And then they kind of like went haywire on the Aristocrat thing for some animes, and then there was like a villainous got reincarnated. So there was a lot of anime about the villainous now. So there's just a lot of derivative things. I'm not sure about the mangas. I'm not sure how good they are, but the animes are just terrible. They're just churning them things out, and it's just like I got burnt out from Isekai, honestly.
Like they will literally change like one thing, right? They'll just be like, okay, let's say reincarnated with a cell phone. let's say reincarnated as a this, and now they're like as a spider, as a sword, as a I'm like,
As a sword, I can't
it's
believe
like
that one. Yeah.
okay, it seems like you guys have given up, right? Like, like
Right.
there's no more thought going into this, and yeah, like you said, the manga's already been a thing before that, but like your selection is
Right.
what we're going by, and you're selecting the things that are so similar, just so that we, you know, that
Right.
easy
We
click,
stumble into it. Yeah, we stumble into it. Like, oh, well, this is I probably like this too.
Right.
It's like, okay. Like, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I think Universal can say that too much of most things. No, I wouldn't even say it's too much of isekai. That's the issue. It's too much of isekai being poorly done. That's the issue. Because not like isekai is a totally brand new topic in anime. It's not a brand new topic, but the oversaturation of isekai is a new thing, and how poorly it's being done in the majority of the cases is also a new thing. I mean, there's even a recent one that's come out where like I got reborn with a cheat skill, or like I got transported to another world with this cheat skill. He's like in two different, he basically gets upgraded in real life and in this like fantasy world or whatever. And again, I read the manga for that, and the manga is very interesting. It is good, and the show, surprisingly, for some reason, is almost already caught up with the manga. I don't know how that's happening, but apparently it is. I don't know how they're going to slow it down, but it is very accurate. It is at least very accurate. So I don't mind it that much. It's it's well animated, has some CGI scenes I don't love. Right?
It looks top tier, yeah. For
Yeah,
most of it,
it looks good.
go into some CGI,
and even the CGI is not terrible. CGI is not terrible, and some of the airspaces they use are just kind of weird, but it's not terrible. So it's good. It's well animated, and it follows the storyline exactly. It follows the exact storyline. I'm enjoying it because of that exact reason. Again, the manga itself isn't this world beating manga, but I do like it. So it's solid 7 or 8, and that's what it's going to be. And if a lot of these other stories, like the Slime Tamer one, like I was saying, like that, if they just followed its story, it would still be a very solid 7 or 8 at least, and maybe some people would even say 8 or 9, depending on how well it's animated. Because some of the scenes in the manga, if you could animate them well, are extremely good. But it's like they're in such a rush to get it out, they don't even take the time to really dedicate that sort of deep attention to detail. And that's what's making it such an irritating thing. Like, if everyone's putting out isekai that are high quality, great, more high quality anime. Even if they're similar topics, they still are, for the most part, different stories. But you're not even highlighting those differences well because you're just trying to throw it out. So that's my big thing with it. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of other tropes that we want to hit on. So let's kind of carry on, and I'll let you guys kind of. I'll let Alonzo kind of take the reins for what he wants to kind of cover next.
Oh man, common tropes in anime that I do not like. Episode long fights, like multi-episode long fights. Like, just get it over with, And I got some examples. Like, Bleach had a 7-episode fight, and then Dragon Ball Z, famous for the 19-episode fight between Goku and Frieza. 19 episodes. What is that? Like 10 hours? 10 hours.
That is crazy.
Watching people scream at each other. No progress for the longest time. I mean, the payoff is good. He goes Super Saiyan, but still, like, you couldn't condense that into like 4 episodes. Like, cut all that screaming out. I know it's epic, but still, yeah, just these long ass fights, and you're just making people wait for cliffhangers and all that stuff.
Right.
I don't like it. I would like it to progress faster. I know there's a savory aspect to it. Like, you want to have those long fights to just, appreciate the epicness, the greatness the anime is doing. Some of these fights are animated so well, like the Ichigo versus Okiura fight, Bleach. That was 7 episodes, and it was so good. But I don't know. What do y'all guys feel about all these long ass fights?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like honestly, even but this is like and this can be applicable to like any show, right? Not just anime does this, but like leaving you on a cliffhanger just so that you watch the next episode to me like ruins my you know my viewing experience because I'm like, oh, okay, this is the character, this is how he would be in this moment, and then you're just like, oh well, I'm gonna hang it so that just so that you can watch the next episode. I'm just like, okay, all right, well that sucks. But then once you end up getting to the next episode and then there's still being more kind of thing, it's like, oh well, all right, I can wait till one episode, or I'm always binge watching everything I watch anyway. So it's literally like next episode's not that bad, but then it's like, all right, now the next episode's done, and now still the fight's not finished, right? It's like, oh well, then what the fuck is
Right.
happening, right? It's like now this is
Right.
filler, right? Now it gets
Right.
to the territory of filler. You're just filling time. Like especially, I mean, you could probably look at the manga, and manga's not gonna be like 6 chapters of one fight. Like, come on, no one's doing
Nah.
that. No one's writing that.
Nah.
Like, why would they? So I'm just like, you're taking this one part in the manga and you're stretching out as long as you want. And I'm like, if the fight's good, like, there's been some. I know there's been some great fights. I mean, like, imagine like Berserker Saber fight and Fate, right? Like that lasted
Yeah.
at least one episode, or two, right? And I'm like it was good as freak though. I mean, like it's animated like crazy and they're doing crazy stuff like the whole time. You know what I mean? They're phantasms coming out or whatever. Like
Right. No one's
you know,
arguing.
hey, like if it's good, hit it. But if all you're doing is screaming, like you can't come on.
Powering up.
You can't do that or flashing back. I hate that shit.
Flashing
Mm.
back. Oh my
Like,
gosh.
it's like, hey man, like
Like
I'm in
I
the middle of
watched
this
the
fight,
episodes.
but I just want to think about something you said to me 3 seconds ago. I'm like, at the beginning of this fight, he said this. You remember that? And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what? Come on, man. It's wild.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I don't know why I forgot about the flashbacks. That's such a good one to bring up. But like Lonzo said, a really good word, savory.
Yeah.
Savory is what they want. For them, it's like, okay, for one, they get to give themselves more time to work on other episodes. That's first step. For two, they get to stretch this thing out, which they know will make you watch, because people don't just drop shows in the middle of something super interesting. They're like, because then their friends are going to talk about it. Oh, it finally happened. Oh, did you see it? No, I got to go back and watch it. I got to go back and watch it. See?
Right.
And it's like, they know that's going to happen. So they know they can do that. They know they can stretch it out because they know they're going to make you have to watch it anyway. So that's why they do it. That savory flavor of the delicious aftertaste when you finally get to see what you've been wanting to see, what you've been needing to see. And it gets the people going. But really, like, that is literally like what they're doing. Like, and that's why they're doing it, because like it's been, I don't want to say accepted, but it's like they know that more people than not will still watch it, and they will influence the others that didn't to go back and watch it anyway. So they're like, we're not going to lose the viewers, and we gain more time to work on other stuff, and we gain more material we can put into next season instead of keeping into this season. And so like, yeah, we're going to do this. And again, sometimes, like I said, it's great because you have certain things that they do that actually add to the fight, like add layers to the motivation of the fight or to the emotional impact of the fight, or to, for example, the whole Goku thing, Krillin getting killed obviously is like a pivotal part of that. If that doesn't happen, or if you skip past that, then that's not as impactful of a scene of him just going Super Saiyan because he's regular upset. So it's like, okay, like those sorts of things add something to it. But again, like you said, I think we are past the days of like 19 episodes for sure. I think for sure they learned their lesson from that. No one is Dragon Ball Z. No one is going to let that slide anymore, But is like 4 episodes too long with a lot of stuff. Yeah, kind of. And I think we talked about this even with like sometimes it's just like even these animes that aren't like action based, like Inspector. Like Inspector, how they'll just drag that ish out, man. And you're just like, my friend, you've been talking for 3 episodes about what you think happened. What happened? Like what actually happened? And yeah, so like it's in all kinds of anime that are like suspense or drama filled or those sorts of things. That's like the basis of their anime, and it's like it adds to it a lot of times, but when it doesn't, it really doesn't, and it really gets annoying really quick. So yeah, I mean, I it is part of the anime experience. I would not want to take it away, but I definitely would appreciate them filling it with a few more meaningful or impactful moments in it, just sprinkled in, so that at least you don't feel like you watched a whole episode and you just didn't learn anything, you just didn't learn anything, nothing, didn't add anything to the story. You could have just skipped it.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, I really hate when you can watch the beginning and end of an episode and it's and learn the same amount of information, right?
Right.
All right. Well, what is something I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about
I was not prepared.
I wanted to talk about, well, Isekai is a good one to kind of talk about everything that I want to talk about, right? So one of the things similar to this aspect of like multi-episode things, like holistically thinking about the whole anime, multi-seasons, right? I hate that shit. I'm like, if
what?
If the point of the story, if the story is finished, right? This is what I'm saying. If you can reach the beginning and end of your story, and the only reason you add on is just to cash grab, I hate that, and it's been done so many times lately. Like Slime, for instance. I mean, I'm like, first season of Slime was good, right? Second season of Slime was okay, right? But if they keep doing it, no, better one, Shield Hero. So I'm like,
yeah.
Shield Hero, first season, super solid, like
elite.
Yeah, and second season, much worse, right? And worse. I think they made a third season. They make a third season, or no? They're only on the second.
They're making it.
And I'm like, come on, dude, and only to push it out, right? They're like, hey, this is making money. This is making money. I don't care about the story anymore. This is making money. And I'm like, you do that, I'm done. Like, and you'll see anime nowadays very, very often will leave you on a cliffhanger, similar to like the fights, but like even bigger in terms of like a big plot point left because there's going to be another season. Don't worry. Like, I'm a romance watcher. I watch a lot of romances, and like that's one of the main things they love to do. Is like, all right, full on romance developed almost, right? And it's just not fully confirmed, and they will just not confirm it because that'll get you to watch another season. It's like what is it? Thanks. Snafu. You remember Snafu? Snafu was so awful because of that. Like super talky anime, and it was really good though in terms of like character development stuff. But like basically confirmed the relationship after season 1, and they made 2 more seasons.
Right.
Like for no reason other than.
And the third season was pointless until literally the end.
Right.
Like literally, you could have just did 2 episodes.
Yeah, and it exactly as you expected from the end of season 1. So it's just like, okay, like what are we doing here? Oh my god. Well, Alonzo, tell me you're feeling my pain. All right, please.
I drop a lot of anime. Even when they're interesting, so I even dropped them when there's 1 episode left. So,
which is crazy to me, man. It's just crazy to me. The FOMO of that. The FOMO of that is crazy.
I'll get around to them eventually, maybe one day. Who knows?
Okay, one day.
I definitely feel you on the romance. Like you can obviously tell where they're trying to push, and then they just drag it out for no reason.
Mhm.
Like what was it Nagatoro? I haven't watched the second season, but I'm pretty sure they
Yeah.
should be fucking by now. Like what's total?
Oh God.
Like,
Oh gosh.
and then yeah, it's weird. Like it is basically a cash grab. Like you I know there's romantic and there's supposed to be like comedic subplots that can keep things going, but still you tell a story, you get it done. Like what was the one show that just aired? Tomo-chan. That told a complete story in like 13 episodes. I'm just like, damn, they did it right. Good job. Good job for y'all.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have low patience for things that keep going on and on and on and on if it's not good, you know.
Right.
I would just drop it in a heartbeat, not give it a second chance, and then
Here's another example that I think you told me about, Alonzo. Promise Neverland. The Promise Neverland.
oh
The,
boy,
the first season, the
The
most
sigh.
solid
it
first
was
season
epic.
out at that time. And it was on
Yes.
Netflix, so available to everybody, basically. So like, what? Showed that you can do anime on Netflix and be solid. And
Mhm.
then they fuck it up by making a second season, dude. The second season was so awful. It was so
I mean, it was so bad because there was so much great manga content. I read the manga. I was like, I can't wait for this to be animated. And then them fools was like, nope, none for you. We ain't doing that shit.
None for you.
We out here trying to make some money by making shit quality stuff. And I wouldn't understand their thought process. God bless them, but you done fucked up, man. Why you out here fucking up something so great for no reason? Like I don't understand. Like, did they run out of money? Did they
it's
run out of
Netflix.
ideas? Like
How did they run out of money?
No, no way. That's not. It's not possible. No way. Like that's crazy. Like that is crazy. That's crazy. Like legitimately, that's true. And that's I think that's the frustrating part of it is how much of the anime now is like driven just by like money, figure sales, merch sales, and stuff like that instead of like actual fan. I don't say appreciation, but like kind of how the fans feel and how the person I assume the creator of the idea and the storyboard and all that stuff would feel about it and what they want to get across in their story. Unless they made the story just to make money, which maybe I don't know, but I assume most of them have other reasons, more more emotion field reasons for making these stories. And kind of sucks that we get like these watered down versions of it a lot of the time, especially if there's multiple seasons. Because generally when you hear another season that you like, you're excited. But way too often, it lets you down. Like it does way too often. Like I mean, Shield Hero, I thought I'm like, there's just no way you mess up a second season of this. Like it's clear where this can go, and it's clear where it's still interesting. But they somehow veered off on this crazy path that no one really wanted or expected. And that's where we are, And I'm like, maybe the third sets up for a crazy good third season. Maybe. I don't know, because it's kind of how like Seven Deadly Sins in the first season. Oh wait, this is hitting. Second season, this is also hitting. And all of a sudden, nosedives and never recovers. Never recovers. So I'm like, is this going to be that case, or is it going to bounce back? Maybe it'll bounce back. Maybe it never recovers. I don't know, but we'll see. I will watch at least the first couple episodes of the third season. Now, if it lets me down, I'm gonna just say F it and let it go. But
already done with it.
he already done. But I will say there's plenty of good examples of even romance, which I do agree. Romance is the one typically they string along the longest. But romance isn't typically a drop. It just stays like the same. It doesn't really drop. It just stays there. like Uzaki-chan, same.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Nagatoro, same. And second season maybe arguably a little better. I'll say maybe a little bit better, arguably. Second season of Nagatoro. So again,
It's good. It's not so one sided. So
yeah. So
in that
again,
regard.
like sometimes it's okay, and usually with romance, at least doesn't just totally nosedive. But I will say there's examples like Love is War, where it gets better and better and better. Love and War season 3 is one of my favorite anime of all time, and it is such a great ending, such a perfect ending. Exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed. It is grandiose, it is beautiful, it is emotion filled, and it is exactly what the anime needed. And they even did like some like extra side stories after that, which are also great. They are also great. Like it shows you can do it. You can make greatness multiple times. But again, did they rush Love is War? No, they did not. They took their time with each season Love is War. It didn't come out like the next freaking half, the next freaking, season of anime wasn't released. They took their time with it. They stayed true to the manga from what I've read, from what I've heard and read. And again, they just animated it very well. Correct voice actors, correct animators, kept the same voice actors the whole time. Didn't cheap out on it. I'm sure those voice actors got more expensive each season, but they didn't cheap out on it. Got the same voice actors, all that stuff. They did it right, and it's fantastic. It pays off. Now, again, that's up to the studio to do. But I can tell you one thing: every single fan of that show, 100% appreciates it, and it'll reflect. I don't know how well it'll reflect on the bottom line as compared. But I'm sure it reflects better on their bottom line than if they didn't do that. At least for this particular anime, but it can happen.
I agree. There's probably a bunch of examples of like pretty decent multi-season shows. I agree, but I think recently it has been
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit after shit after shit.
Yeah. But one thing that's always been in anime, I've never liked it. And that's these MCs that are just, especially male MCs, that are just on their own planet. And that has been, I mean, I don't know why this is what they choose to do with their MCs, but this is what they've done since I've started watching anime 20 years ago. Like, why are you having these characters that are just so oblivious and almost like childlike adults to an extent, like even Goku is like this. Like, I'm like, how does this guy have a kid? This guy Goku, it sounds like it doesn't sound like he could consent. He does not seem like a capable adult. I don't know how Chi Chi made that happen, but she did apparently. But I was like, I don't like it. Like, it makes them like, I think what they're trying to get at is like purity, even, and like the pure sense of like the human spirit of like, kindness and like generosity and like childlike joy in like everything that they do, but then it just comes off as like not having common sense. And I'm like, we need characters that have at least some level of common sense, because at a point we put ourselves in these people's shoes and we're just like, I would never do that. No one would do that. Why are you doing that? Like, especially in these anime that are like romance driven, and like especially if there's more than one, female protagonist, and you're just like, and now, there's one in particular. I want to hit on, because I absolutely, to the point, I have not watched the second season of this. Rental Girlfriend. I hate that guy. I hate that guy, bro. Like, he is just you have in this anime, for people that haven't watched it, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a rental girlfriend service. He rents his girlfriend, basically to make another girl jealous, right? Like, or not look like a loser. Is that not it, right?
Well, I think it also started off as just like practice, basically. Like it was
Yeah, practice sort of
like
thing, right?
the reason why she broke up with me was because I wasn't good at dating her. So let me
Okay,
practice.
okay,
Right.
okay. So yeah, something like that. So basically, trying to get himself, I guess, more experience. Whatever reason, he just was like trying to boost his confidence a little bit. He was like,
Mhm.
okay, cute girl, let me get this experience, right? So he rents this girl, right? And as you would expect from the name of the anime, he falls for the girl he rents. Sounds like a terrible idea. I think everyone would say that's a terrible idea. But okay. Um, but then, later in this show, spoiler alert, he does he ends up dating another rental girlfriend. And she actually falls for him. Mind you, this guy has been without a girlfriend, and he's been basically using this rental girlfriend to help him pursue his ex, who is an awful human being. Maybe in fact, the worst human being, the worst kind of person on this planet. who literally does not want this guy, does not want this guy. His ex does not want him. But she does not want him to be with anyone else either.
Mhm.
She is the definition of toxic. She is toxic personified.
Mhm.
She's awful. And this guy entertains it. Like it's clear to everyone else that he should let this one go, right? And he obviously still does not like this girl. He obviously likes the girl he's rented more than her anyway. First off, so that's the first sign he should just been let this go, right? But he's using that as an excuse to like keep seeing her, whatever. But then even with that, you now have an opportunity. He has an opportunity to move on with the other rental girl who is also very attractive, very sweet, very kind, very understanding. And he somehow
Arguably
is
the
on
most attractive.
I think the most attractive by far, honestly. But he is there. He is there making this decision, about to make this like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be all in on this girl that actually likes me for once, instead of liking girls that don't give a freak about me or see me as just a business opportunity, you know. And then he still goes back. Like, I could not watch. I still haven't watched the second season. Still haven't watched it because I just can't stand these MCs like this, dude. Like, you have to give them some increment of just like common sense and self-respect. For him, it's self-respect too. But for so many, it's just common sense too, where they're making all these terrible decisions. Oh, I didn't realize this girl liked me. Oh, the girl that showed you her titties slept in your bed naked and made you breakfast every day your entire life. She don't like you, huh? Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I understand the innocent and cutesy vibe you're going for, but it ain't cute no more. Stop doing it. Sorry, get aggressive there.
Yeah,
Don't
I
take
think
over if I get.
I definitely think that, like, if the point is that, you know, like that's part of his character, then it's different, right? But in most cases, especially when it comes to, like, you know, major anime like that, like the main character isn't supposed to be oblivious. He just It's just a side effect of his environment or whatever. Like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna ignore the things directly that are like, that are obviously okay. You know, I would go this route, but that would be obvious. That's too obvious. So yeah, so I don't know. I think part of it is probably plot, right? Like how do we keep plot is to make the main character do something other than the normal thing. But I think if you keep doing it, it makes him into something very annoying. Yes, I agree. Like, yeah, especially when it comes to fucking Kazuki or whatever his name was. And yeah, like it didn't even matter. Like him with the rental girlfriend, him falling for her. Like I was like, you know, whatever, all in on her, and it seemed like that's what he was gonna do. And then, like, you know, if he's saying that, if he's preaching that, and then soon as whatever her name was, Nani or whatever,
Mommy,
yeah,
John.
she comes in and then
His
he's
ex.
gone, right? Like he
Freaking gone.
no brain anywhere anymore. And like, and she would say direct things that are like, I don't think you should see her anymore. Like direct toxic things. You know, it's just like, oh well.
And they are not dating. Clear. She broke up with him. Be clear.
You know,
Crazy.
I don't know. What was that one anime you talked about before? Hagani or something like that?
Yeah.
And wasn't that MC kind of terrible too?
Mm-hmm.
The girls.
Yeah, he gets called out though.
That's why. That's why I like Hagani. Because I'm like, yes, call that man out on that bull crap. Ain't nobody that oblivious. Call them out more. No, and that anime is from like 2008 or something, dude. Like no one else in anime history has called an MC out since that show.
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen it before or after. Y'all want to copy tropes? Copy that one, man. Call these guys out, man. Like it's been almost going on 15 years. No one's copied that. No one else gets called out, man. Call these guys out, man. Freak out of here. Like I need a girl to be like, look, dude, I didn't cook you meals, brought you lunch, took care of your sick mama, nursed you back to health, showed you my naked body multiple times, slept in your bed, and you ain't got the hint yet. Call these dudes out. Call them out if that's the case. Call them out. I need that from next. Someone put out anime. Put that out. You got me. You got me watching.
No, I think you're missing the point there. Because I don't know, not missing the point. I'm just gonna say I would obviously miss the signs if it was happening to me. I wouldn't want somebody to call me out on that. You're gonna make me feel bad,
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way if a girl's sleeping in your bed naked, you gonna miss that sign. I'm sorry, Alonzo. Ain't no level of obliviousness.
I mean, like that girl homeless? Like, put her on my bed.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. Don't lie to the people. Don't lie to the people. As bad as these anime chicks be looking, you are not going to say that. I'm on the
spectrum. America, I'm on the spectrum. I don't know people. I will claim that. I will cancel myself. Cancel everything I ever believed in. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's move on.
I think you definitely have a point there though, where it's like, yeah, I mean, it was kind of gut wrenching, especially on a comedy related anime, where Hagani goes, no, stop fucking playing. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was watching a comedy. I was like, oh, that's kind of scary.
Oh, I love it. I loved it. It was so good. So the reason why it's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Reason why.
So, I mean, saying that though goes into one of the points that I wanted to talk about, right? And one is splitting between multiple genres, right? I'm like, if you can do it well, right, it works. But if you can't do it well, it really hurts me. So like, there are so many comedies, right, that I think could be solid comedies. Like Love is War is solid comedy, right? Like,
really good. Yeah.
Even if the romance undertones weren't under it, it was solid really comedy, right? Yeah. And I'm like, take that, do that, work that. That's great. And there's so many anime that will come out and try to do this same thing, and the only problem is that they will change it into something else. They're like, all right, well, this isn't only a comedy, it's also an action drama thing, right? And I'm like, oh, you're ruining it, because now I can't figure out whether I need to be thinking seriously. Are these events seriously happening and I should be thinking this way, or are these all jokes and I should be waiting for the punchline, right? So now, I'm stuck between, two kind of like, like moments where I'm waiting for either I'm waiting for the hard cut, plot twist kind of, drama thing, or am I waiting for just the, the punchline, right? So it's like, I don't know. I hate that shit sometimes. Like I think it like so many pretty decent comedies turn into shit comedies because of this. Like, yeah, I like like I want to bring up my anime list so that I can find one that really did that. Like fucking gamers. You remember gamers? I don't know.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
gamers.
right, and I'm like that's one that did that too, where I was like, man, it seemed like one of the best comedies that I thought in a long
It
time.
was
Like
good.
laughed at it, right? And then it just changed and went into like this. Oh, we're doing serious romance right now.
Right.
Get ready for real drama.
Get
And then
ready.
I'm like, okay. And then hard cut back to just joking again. And I'm
Right.
like, you're fucking me up. I don't know how to feel about these events anymore.
You gotta push up, man.
Yeah, you gotta push up. You gotta push up.
But yeah, I would agree. To an extent, I actually really like when they do it well. To an
Right.
extent, I actually don't mind when they don't do it super well either. Like I don't mind when they don't, as long as they don't do it terribly, which I don't think I've seen a whole lot to just do it really, really badly. To me, in my opinion. But I kind of look. I used to especially look for really nice combinations of action, comedy, romance. My favorite three. I used to love having all three of those in there, and that's kind of what I grew up on. In like some of the anime like Naruto. It's like a little like very it's like a little twinge of romance or whatever. But like things like that, and then there's like anime like Trigun had like action, comedy, romance, anime. Like one of my favorite anime, old school anime, which y'all probably don't know, but it's called Black Cat. Action, romance, and I love Black Cat. We watched it a bunch of times. It's not a super well known or super like highly rated anime, but to me, it's one of my favorites. And I just love that combo. And again, it's a super successful combo historically in anime. If you go and like look through anime, action, comedy, romance, and Yasha, like Yu Yu Hakusho, even like
Right.
all these anime, especially from the past, there was action, comedy, romance sprinkled all through,
Hmm.
and it was done really well for a long time. Now it's not being done as well of recently. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's again lack of attention to detail or what, because it seems like in the manga I'm reading, again, done pretty well still. So I don't know if it's just like attention to detail sort of thing, or if it's people trying to again delve more into the isekai stuff, or delve more into this other stuff. I don't know, but I've seen it done really well for a long time, especially with that particular trio. And then a lot of times, obviously, romantic comedy is common, super common, thing. But I really like it personally, and when it's done really well, then it turns into like a really really top tier anime. And even when it's done just okay, I mean, there's plenty of them. There's like Mock and Key. Um, there's like I forget what it's called, like first season of like Devil's a Part Timer, like those sorts of shows. Like plenty of them do a pretty good job, of it.
Right.
I mean, again, maybe they're not elite, but they're all enjoyable. They're good. Even Mob Psycho has a sprinkle a little bit of romance, action comedy. Again, it's a very good combo. And when it's done well, they're elite anime. And when it's done, even when it's done like okay, it's still very enjoyable watch. And again, not every anime can be a banger. Sometimes you just got to shoot for pretty good.
Hmm.
You know. How you feel, Alonso?
For me, I don't really pay attention to the genres. I'm more of a story kind of guy. Like, I don't really care if it's supposed to be funny or action or drama. I don't care if it's like doing those pieces of it badly. I just want to know if the overall story is good.
Hmm.
That's all I care about. The synopsis, things are being executed where they should be executed. Um, yeah, I'm not focusing too much on like the main genres or anything like that. Just like get the story across, make it easier for me to understand, digestible. I'm a dumb guy. I can look at things and I want them simple so I can understand it and get through it. Like anime is an escape for me, so I'm not looking to think too critically.
That's
I
fair.
mean, there are some critical thinking shows out there that I do enjoy, but that's just me.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I am also probably only talking about like flow, right? Like I said, I binge most things I watch anyway, so like that interrupting flow to me sometimes it ends up being upsetting. And then also, if they were to focus on one particular thing, I know that it was done well, so it could be like like what was it saying? Like Rental Girlfriend, right? Like, what if they focus on the drama and the romance aspect of it only, right? Would that be a better show? To me, in my eyes, it would have, right? I'm like, the comedy, was it good? No, I don't think so. Like, was it needed? No. Like, if they would, if they would have kept it, I'm saying that kind of thing. Like Shield Hero, for instance, like it gets to the end of that thing, that arc, and the adding the bit of comedy on the end of it. I'm like, was it worth it? Like was it?
I get, that's true. That's true.
Messing up my flow, man. Like I was super serious, super with it the whole time, and then you hit these hard cuts. Like that's the main thing that I'm like, please, and then also if you want to do comedy, do it. I am all for. I am still trying to find the best comedy anime because I don't think that people lean into it enough. I think what's it called? My Ordinary Life. Nishijo. Yeah, I was like, that one leaned into it. It was just like, this is about random, like not about anything. Do not take anything seriously, and that's what I liked about it. I don't know. So
I like about Gintama. Have you watched Gintama? It's super long.
I heard it parody of the anime.
It just parody the anime. Yeah, it does, but it's mainly just parody the anime. That's all it really is. So I mean, people love it, and it says a bajillion episodes, and they don't, no particular storyline that I know of. I haven't watched like a lot of it, but I mean, it is what some people considered it more of a big three anime than like One Piece and Naruto sort of thing. So, but to each their own. But yeah, I know Lonzo had said he wanted to talk about something I think is super common in anime too, Forever.
Yes, the goddamn power of friendship wins in the end, and the all glory happy ending. Like, fuck all that noise. I want the darkness, man. I want everybody to die in the end. I don't want nobody to talk about friendship. You ain't gonna get no magical power up talking about your friends, thinking about your friends, flashing back to where you met your friend for the first time, shook his hand, was like, "This is what I need to beat this boss." Oh, it's so fake to me. I don't particularly enjoy it. Let's see. I think like Seven Deadly Sins was like one of those shows. I haven't watched the 3rd or 4th seasons, but I've heard stories like, yeah, they were terrible, terribly animated, terrible story. But anyway, I've heard the stories. Actually watched a YouTube video about it the other day, about how they just lean into the power of friendship to defeat the final boss, and then everybody got a happy ending. Everybody got married to their sweethearts, had kids, all that crap. I'm just like, no, that was not what the first season of that show was about. There was a lot of death in that show. There was a lot of stuff happening. Like, you should have leaned into the darkness. There was an arc in Bleach actually, where I would have thought they would have leaned more into the darkness, because it was like one guy mind controlling everybody. I was like, this guy could have done some real damage. He could have killed some people and made Ichigo despair. I'm like, they didn't. I'm just like, you're missing out on like greatness. Right. I'm not a cynical person, but well, maybe I am, but I just want people to suffer in anime sometimes. Like, if I gotta suffer in real life, you gotta suffer too.
Oh gosh. Oh man. Why you and Robert love this like darkness in anime. I am like, oh yeah, maybe it's the profession I work in. I'm like, I don't want to come home to any more darkness. Give me frilly, cheery, yippee-ki-yay ending every day. I will take it. Like, I don't want none of that ish, man. Like, oh my god, I gotta try to deal with all that. Just like you said, and for me is an escape. There's enough darkness in the world. You just go turn on the news. You want darkness? Go turn on the news. Stare at it for 30 minutes. You will feel the darkness. You will feel the darkness. Like
everybody around you is dying.
You're right.
Welcome to the morning news. Go to work now.
Step outside. There were 16 accidents. 100 people died. Your neighbor actually got shot in the face yesterday. Like, oh, great. I needed this information.
What's the word? I'm numb to all that. To the real world news. I don't care. Desensitized. That's it.
Yeah. Desensitized. Okay. Well, I'm soft. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear no more of that ish. I'm tired of it. I watch anime. I want my job to be happy-go-lucky, cheery. I agree. Power friendship. OD sometimes. I mean, that is what made Goku turn Super Saiyan. Friendship / anger. What's a woman? Naruto. Current theme in a lot of anime. Gon in Hunter x Hunter. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, certain people cough haven't watched it.
Father, son, Kamehameha,
Dude, honestly, Father, son, Kamehameha, one of my favorite scenes in anime as a kid, dude. I was jealous. Like, one hand Kamehameha with the broke arm just swinging in the wind. Broke his free
power of love.
That nigga was strong with the hair longer than anyone else's, as he was saying too. I was like, yeah, go on, get that freak. But you gotta appreciate it. You gotta get where they're coming from. Human connections do give you power. People do say, it's not about what you know, about who you know. Connections do give you power in this world. So there's not total falsehood in that. That is true. Connections give you power. Maybe not direct, tangible power to like blow away your enemies, but
give me your power. Give it to me.
Let's give you some power. I don't know. Just say it.
Yeah. I think when done well, the power friendship thing is okay, right? Doesn't it's a normal trope and done fine. When leaned on for no reason other than Deus Ex Machina shit, right? Like all right, we need to beat the boss. How are we gonna do it? Friendship, right? Like what, Soul Eater? You were really into Soul Eater? Like this girl didn't have no power to do nothing the whole time and beat him with her bare fit. Okay, nothing other than just like I can. I hate that shit. No, don't do that. Like, give me something that you're evolving towards. But also on Alonso's side, when the darkness is done well, like Shigaraki arc, like was so good. I don't know, like, hey, hit me with those hard cuts sometimes. I'm like, hey, this is a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man anime, like, and then like Shigaraki arc comes up and he's like, I killed my whole family. Like, oh my god. Yes, that's what I need sometimes. Like, I'm just saying, like, we would see the same shit over and over and over again. Yeah, like sometimes you need a hard, dark twist. Like how many times can you twist into the power of friendship? You know what I mean? Like, you can't do it that many times before I know where you're going with it. Like, give me a hard twist on this villain is about to get OP and you better be scared.
It doesn't even have to be like that. Like, Odd Taxi had a dark ending as well. Like the girl getting in the back of the cab.
Yes.
That was excellent. But go ahead, Matt.
I'm just saying, Robert just said he hates when they go into multiple animes and they make these hard cuts from like comedy to romance. Now you like the hard cuts? Like the hard cuts.
Comedy to romance is awful. Now, hard cuts dark to light or light to dark, that is cool. I eat that up every day.
I think it's wrong in the head, man. So good. With all his extra darkness, man. Like I said, I don't watch the news. I don't go looking for it on social media. I don't want none of that, man. You want a hard twist. Just you can go watch Boku no Pico.
Oh, Lord.
Hard twist right there. Go watch it.
Oh my God.
Y'all don't watch that.
No.
Unless you into that. But I would read up before I watch it if I were you. But like there's enough anime that they don't go all the way into it. They don't go all the way into it, but it's enough. Like I think again, there's certain anime where they do enough. Like Shield Hero, it doesn't go all the way into the deep end, but it does enough of like a balancing act of like, okay, realistically, like again, certain heroes, I'm gonna always turn the other cheek, not realistic. I'm sorry, we're not Jesus. If a dude is like offing all of your friends and beating your tail at every convenience while you know you're still not strong enough to beat them, when you get strong enough to beat them, you go have to tear them up. Ain't gonna be no other cheek. Ain't gonna be no here. I'm gonna help you up. Nope, I'm gonna F you up. What the freak? You've been beating me up since I was 10, and now I'm 20 and I'm strong, and you think I'm just gonna be helping you? No. You get in these hands. Like, yes, that I agree. I think to an extent you can do it. You can still make it different without going all the way to the deep end. Like the Shigaraki arc, I think was a necessary darkness though, because you have to have. And this is something they didn't used to do as much in certain older anime, is having depth of the antagonist characters, which I think is done a little bit more now. Which was one thing I said you do a little bit better now, because so that arc was important to give a more human aspect to Shigaraki and why he is the way he is, and even explaining why heroes almost basically caused him to be that way to an extent, and. So it's like it makes a human aspect to these characters, which is we like in movies. While we think, for example, like Namor in Black Panther 2 is such a good villain, because it's like, you can kind of see why he's a quote unquote villain, but you can also see why you kind of could be on his side with a few different tweaks. So that's why I'm like, yes, I do agree with that. Those sorts of things where they don't make it so black and white, I agree, should be definitely more in anime, because it just isn't always that black and white in life, usually isn't. And I think that is good to include. But again, I get what y'all are saying. I just am not part of that darkness life. But give me balance. Give me different ways of going about these tropes. Give me a protagonist that has some little bit of grit, a little bit of spite, a little bit of revenge. There's levels to the revenge. Certain anime that go further than others that I will not mention because I always won't mention it. But yeah, I like the grit. I like all that. But yeah.
You want a good time? You should watch Madoka. That's a great anime.
God,
magical girls are happy. Yeah, you should watch that.
You're not gonna catch me with that one, sir. I watched F1. I seen that girl get chomped on. Her whole life flashed for her eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I want something that shows the full depth, like you said, right? But that's also the hardships for the main character. I need that to feel like complete, right? It's not just like I scraped my knee. Help me, the power of friendship, please. Like, no, I want to see some hardships, some true hardships.
Right. I think Gurren Lagann did that good.
Yeah, they did.
It
yes.
set you a curveball, and then they went with it, and Power of Friendship won in the end, but still,
right.
But they did
way
it good.
Way bigger way than anyone could have expected.
Yeah.
Right.
The
mighty common.
And I for the life of me, I thought this guy was going to come back at some point in this series.
Right.
Till the last episode, I thought he was going to come back, and they didn't. Honestly, I still was hurt at the end of that episode. I was like, I'm a little hurt still. I thought he was going to come back at the end, get his girl. That girl is cursed, also. She is cursed AF. Every jigger that fall for her die. Every jigger. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh, man. But yeah. I agree. They did it really well. Good stuff. Yeah, the blueprint is there. The blueprint is there. I don't know why people don't take it. Maybe it's just harder, but it's there. I would love for more people to take it and run with it. And I think, like I said, Shield Hero is one of the ones, like season one, where they did a really good job of making a unique blueprint with these characters and giving them more human emotions. And like, yeah, if someone's sitting here making your life miserable, even if you're the hero, and they're dragging your name through the mud, you're not just gonna keep your head down, just keep trucking. And when you get the chance to finally show them up, you're gonna for sure be like, it's fine. No, he got her exiled and and called the B word for her life. Like petty is super petty, but I don't think he was gonna argue it, man. Like no one's gonna argue that's not deserved. So, I mean, again, I definitely would like more of that. More of that. They could. There needs to be more anime doing that. But yeah, I don't know. What's we on time? Because I think we got time for another one more. Robert, you want to put out, or
We could probably do one more.
You got one more you want to do, Robert?
Okay.
I mean, I got one, but
yeah, I going back to like the isekai thing of it, right? So this is kind of twofold, right? I love when anime focus on adult characters, right? Like if you have main characters an adult, and then you can have like you can really put yourself in his shoes or whatever, and so many because that's just the genre. They are in high school or middle school, right? And I'm like, not a fan of that, right? So adult, but then when they're in high school and middle school, they put so many adult themes on top of it, and that's what I don't like. I'm like, okay, like I don't know how. Again, you getting me confused on like how to feel in this situation, right? Like, all right, well, she's in middle school, right? It's like one of the tropes, right? Is that like there's a middle school character who's more developed than a high school character. Have you noticed this? Like a lot of times, right? And I'm like, okay, what are you saying though, right? You know what I mean? And then put her in weird situations that are just like, I mean, okay, I was already on the fence with all these high school characters, and then you introduce a middle school character, this busty middle school character, and then you're just like, all right, and she accidentally gets fondled or whatever. I'm just like, oh, you're doing this. Why are you doing this? Why? It's like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. I do not like that shit. I don't, and like most of the anime, they end up at the bottom of my list. The lowest ones have some aspect of that are just like, hey, this is nothing but ecchi bullshit for no reason, right? And I'm like, all right, if that's the reason I'm watching it, then okay, make that the reason I'm watching it. But you know what I mean? Like, right. Is this porn or is this anime? Because I surely hope that this isn't
guilt-free porn,
right? Oh my gosh!
I mean, yeah, I agree. I've talked to you about this before, especially in romance stuff. I'm like, why are there not more adult, romance anime, but in general, like adults in anime? I'm like, I guess the theory is that a lot of them are initially geared to a younger audience, would be the thought process, at least, right? But then again, you look at the themes, and I'm like, should kids be watching that? It's like, right. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, like again, like we talked about even on My Hero Academia, like, okay, yeah, sure. At the beginning, kids, sure, watch it. That Shigaraki are kids, and you're like, should kids really be watching that? Like, should a 10-year-old really be seeing this man murk his family? I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, so.
Why every main character gotta have a busty, like, side character? You know what I mean? Like, what is this? Well, why? That's
Titty
just
sell.
you know, like that's
Titty,
just how
titty
it
sell.
works. Like, okay.
Titty
But
sell. We went over. It's a business, man.
so I'm
Who
isekai
go?
into
Who
this new
go?
world, and first thing I experience is titties. You know, it's like like why
I mean,
I don't know. Again, you're distracting me from the plot. I'm binging
that is the
this,
plot.
right? And
That is
it is the plot.
What's that one isekai where it's a guy who he calls himself Diablo, and he got an elf girl
Oh
with big old
yeah,
titties,
yeah.
and I think a
How not to
dog
summon a
cat
demon
person.
lord.
Not to
Yeah,
summon a demon lord. Yeah.
that shit is terrible.
See, now you made me seem like I knew it because of some reason. All right. No,
Yeah, I
I
obviously
mean
watched it too.
he has. I mean, part of it has some really good like action scenes in it,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure,
But
for sure.
then it keeps devolving into orgy after orgy, right? You know what I'm saying? He just gets another person, adds to his harem, and then fucks like every episode. You know, like come on, dude, what's happening?
I mean, yeah. And again, it at least technically those are adults. Technically, they're all adults in that show.
Mm.
Technically,
That
technically.
cat girl is small. she's,
I mean,
she's the loudest one though. So,
she's loud.
but
She's also the most mature one.
right.
So, just saying, she's small. They're small adult women. It does not discriminate.
Very
Say
true.
that every girl has E-cup titties. So it's like this is real life. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I agree. It would be very nice to have, especially more adult characters in general in anime. Because I think when we were picking crushes. If we had anime crushes, it was just a whole separate episode. But it was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to pick an adult female in anime. In general, then it narrows the list down a lot for you. And it's like that kind of sucks though. Like it kind of sucks, and it also kind of sucks because there's not a lot of mature romances because of that. And I get because a lot of times they're trying to play the romance comedy sort of thing, but I'm like, there's adult romantic comedies all the time in actual theaters in every country. I'm sure, including Japan, there's regular live action adult romantic comedies, and they probably do well like everywhere else in the world. So I'm like, why is that not translate to anime? Even the most recent one is the ice guy and his cool female companion or whatever.
Right.
And that is okay. It's okay. But again, the way they treat it is not like an adult romance in that anime. That's my thing is can we have an adult romance that is treated like an adult romance in anime? Obviously done well, obviously interesting, obviously dramatic, all that good stuff too. Add pizzazz to it like everyone else does, but still treat it like an adult romance. And add some of those. That would be nice. And I do agree that I really, really, really wish that there was more of that in anime, like just good adult characters in general, which are great, but good adult female protagonists, not just to be attractive, but just interesting adult female protagonists that we can adult female protagonist, strong, good, witty, and whatever. That's also would be good too. There's just not a lot, typically it's like I said, younger women, even in dudes with adult males, they still be having young women, female protagonists. I'm like, okay, that girl's in high school, that's weird. Or she looks like she's in high school, whatever. Okay. Yeah, not my favorite.
What was that one show I shaved and took in a high school girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird premise.
And the theme is just so prevalent. So many shows do this, and and then for some reason that's also what you're rooting for in terms of the romance in that anime, right? It's like back to kind of like Snafu. I was rooting for him and the teacher. You know what I mean? To get together because I was like, they're perfect for each other. But I'm like, yeah, and similar there. I'm like, I mean, was I rooting for them too? Yes. Did I think that was good? No, obviously. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing just makes it adds a layer of feel weirdness to your watch experience, and
doesn't necessarily have to be there.
Right. does not add anything major to the story to have it in there. Right?
Right. It's like they believe workplace stuff can't be interesting. I'm like, really, the workplace is still the same thing as school, like if not more interesting. Like, why is it not interesting? Like, you think not?
My workplace is soul crushing.
Yeah. Well, it's an animated world. You can make your workplace interesting and not soul crushing. Like you don't have to put an all male workplace. Obviously, it's going to be a great review. Unless you and the boys love anime, that's a whole other thing. Then I guess it's fire if it's boys love anime. Perfect, but if you're talking about a regular heterosexual, romance in an anime, yeah, you can make up whatever numbers you wanted to put in this office. Whatever kind of office you want. You can put an isekai office romance. My isekai office romance, another world. Look at that. Bam, I said anime. Like, it'll be good. So, Robert.
Honestly, I agree. I think that they end up turning into more talkies, and I think it ends up being like, not a lot of people enjoy that, right? Like, kind of like Spice and Wolf that I told you about before. Like, it's literally just like marriage the anime, right? It's like like all they're doing is the most basic of conversations, kind of thing. Like, oh, how are you doing today? And like, what did you do? It's like, okay, is this what we want? But like, but also there was recently an anime where it's a female protagonist and she is working in an office. I freaking forgot the name of it, but it's like Senpai is annoying, something like that.
Oh yeah.
And and I thought it was solid, right? Like, I think it showed kind of the like it didn't highlight the boring parts of the workplace, but just showed kind of like what to do outside and like, how you guys, join as groups and stuff. And I'm like, it was interesting. But like, again, very kind of like talky thing, right? Like, not like it's happening. It's just like, oh, we just talked a lot to establish this romance. Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, that's great as an adult, that is fine. But I'm like, let's be honest. Let's be totally honest. Scum's Wish, man. Scum's Wish.
Yes, I forgot about Scum's Wish.
Dirty, messy, and real as freak. Let's be real. Adult romances don't be going that smooth. Like, it'd be like Scum's Wish. It'd be messy AF. Just make that an anime. And everyone's gonna watch it. I'm telling you, like, everyone's gonna watch the dish. Everyone watches it. Don't let no guy tell you that they don't be watching drama and it's mess. They do. We do. Especially if it's for me, especially if it's an anime form, I'm gonna watch that dish. I'm sorry, I'm gonna watch it. And I'm gonna like it too. I'm gonna really like it. I might even rate it an 8 or 9. Maybe even 10. I don't know. Scum's Wish is a mess. It's total mess. But it is a realistic depiction of how messy things can get. And 100% more anime should do that. And it is very interesting. It's very dramatic. It is realistic. And it shows, sometimes you just got terrible people involved in romance. Sorry. Not everyone that is involved in romance is nice and kind and sweet. They sometimes suck. Like, yeah. And that's okay to show too in anime.
No matter how much you will it, right? No matter how you will this romance to happen, like that's not how it works, right?
Right.
And that's how that boy was. He was like, I love this woman. It's like, yeah, get bodied. But and I think Fruits Basket is another example of like, solid, like, be dramatic, like show that there's like normal human drama that happens, and it was good as free, right? So I'm like, yeah, I agree.
It's one of the most liked anime of all time. Fruit Baskets.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it don't take all that. It just takes some time and some dedication and some attention to detail. And you know what? Speaking of time, I think we got some extra time on the way.
Oops. Fucked it up. No extra time for you.
Clearly.
All right, we're into extra time. Okay, so I want to start off with the XFL, not the NFL, not the USFL. The XFL stands for the Extra Fun League of Football.
That's
No, but the Arlington Renegades defeated the Washington Defenders to win the XFL 3.0 championship. So the first XFL was back in like 20 years ago. Second XFL was like back before the pandemic got shut down. This is the third iteration, and now the Arlington Renegades won the championship. So congrats to them.
Hey, two Virginia teams.
Oh no, Arlington, Texas.
Oh, Arlington, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Barcelona defeated Espanyol to become La Liga champions for first time since 2019, and for the first time since Messi left them. So congrats to them. I don't follow soccer, but might as well get some soccer news in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I approve.
On to the big daddy of things, the NBA. So we got the Nuggets defeated the Suns in 6 games. The Miami Heat defeated the New York Knicks in 6 games. The Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. And then finally, the Boston Celtics absolutely destroyed the Philadelphia 76ers in 7 games. Jason Tatum, the scoring person for the Celtics, he scored a Game 7 record, 51 points. Game 7, it's like the pinnacle of basketball sports in the playoffs. Like it's do or die, go or go home. So do it big, and he showed up. Clearly. He absolutely annihilated them. Sixers just laid down and died. Joel Embiid, the MVP, didn't show up. He played like ass. James Harden had his mind on strippers in Houston. So, so they're going home. They're going to Cancun. So sucks to be the Sixers. But I wanted to talk about another NBA player. He goes by Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. And earlier this season, for context, he got caught with a gun in a nightclub. He posted it to Instagram Live, and the NBA was like, "No, that's a no-no," because they didn't know if he brought the gun with him to a game that he had just played in. I think it was Denver. So they were like, they had to look into it. They were like, "All right, we're going to suspend you for 8 games. Don't do stupid shit like this again." Ja claimed he went down to Florida for like meditation and relaxation and getting himself right, but we all know he ain't do that shit. Like,
he went to Florida.
He went to Florida, North Korea of the South.
Oh my God!
I said it. I don't regret it. Ron DeSantis is an asshole, but that's another discussion. And then so. He's had all this trouble. Like he argued with a shoe store salesman earlier this year, brought his posse to fight him. Then he had to argue with a teenager at a high school game, and he threatened to shoot the guy. So he's had trouble keeping himself intact. He had trouble with the gun earlier, and now this past week he got caught again on Instagram Live showing another gun, and so. And so now the Memphis Grizzlies suspended him. The NBA is thinking about suspending him for like a long time next season. And I just want to ask, is he stupid?
It seems like he is stupid. Very, very.
Yes.
Yes. That answers that.
Bye, y'all.
But like, I will say,
go ahead.
In the club, right? So because that's not your house, that is brandishing, right? So that's like that's definitely illegal. That's an against the law, right?
Yeah.
But then in the car, I mean, some people can argue, right? Where like whether or not that is a, domicile or whatever. Like you can have your gun there. You can, have your gun shown. But I still think that most people would say there's mostly public, right? If you're in your car, you're more in the public than in your house. So probably still get brandishing. Maybe they have like a first and second degree of that or something. So maybe he gets brandishing in the second degree. Anyways, that's still bad. Still illegal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this man should have a gun. Am I? How many times you gotta get brandishing before they take your gun? I'm like, okay, whatever.
I don't know.
That's America. Oh, okay, never mind. That's.
I mean, it's not more of breaking the law. It's just he didn't learn this lesson the first time.
I mean, yeah.
Like, that's why they wanted to suspend him. Like, because they had an issue like well over a decade ago with another NBA player named Gilbert Arenas. He brought like 4 guns into a locker room, and he told one guy, I think his name was Crittenton, to choose one gun. They were going to shoot it out in the locker room. They were mad over like a bet gone wrong, so they both got suspended. They both were out the league in like 2 years or less. The NBA wants to they don't like guns because of that incident. So
yeah. So I got 2 things just that I want to add to that. One is he did an interview with a former basketball player / now TV personality, Jalen Rose, or at least a sit down. I'm not sure if it was an interview or just a sit down, like a one-on-one sit down. But in that, basically, in one of these things, either interview or sit down, he told multiple sources that, and I quote, "That was not me." Like, as in, that's not me. Like, as in not that he wasn't the one that did it, but that is not who I am as a person.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. That's not me. So that as an excuse of like youthful ignorance, and as your excuse, youthful ignorance, youthful bliss, whatever, bad crowd, that excuse works one time, right? Does not work the second time. Cannot not be you twice. Cannot not be in your personality twice. No one's shoving this gun in his hand. Like, since all the second video, he's clearly with some dude, and in fairness to the dude, I don't think he knows Ja has a gun out, because he moves the camera very quickly when he sees Ja has the gun. Very quickly. He tries to protect this dude. So Ja is being stupid by himself. Even the people around him know not to do this. And he's just doing stupid stuff by himself. No one else is saying to do this. So even less of an excuse, right? My second thing is, there was a piece today on NBA, was it NBA Live or NBA Today? I forget what it's called, but the show where Richard Jefferson is on there with Kendrick Perkins and those people. And he said even his 6 and 8-year-old sons, I think he said 8-year-old son, 6 or 8-year-old son, told him, like, when he asked them, do you think this is good or bad that this guy is showing off his gun? They're like, it is not, it's bad. It's not a good look, basically. So his argument is an 8-year-old can tell you that as a notable person, you should not be doing this. So it does not take a high level of intellect to decide that this is a bad decision, especially when you've already got a warning. So to do it twice when you're in a position, and I mean, Ja Morant, and it's the most frustrating thing is that he should understand how privileged he is to be in this position more than a lot of other players in the league, because he wasn't no highly touted, high school player. He was like a 2 or 3 star player. He went to Murray State, not a big school, and even then had to stay for a while, really prove himself. And again, still had a bunch of question marks coming into the league. A lot of teams still didn't really believe in him. Still was a first round pick, true, so still making good money. But again, like, you did it the hard way, dude. You did it the hard way because you weren't a big time prospect. So it's like, what it means to be not there, to not even see it really in your reach. And you get there and then you act an absolute fool. Like, and it's just such a bad example for all the kids that are like trying to use you as an example of, okay, like, I don't got to be 6, 7, 9, 10. I don't got to be LeBron James height. I don't got to be Wembanyama. I don't got to be, Giannis to make it to the league. I can get there as like a 6 foot, 2-3 dude, or even shorter sometimes. Just get my hops, work hard, go to shoot, learn to dribble, learn to fight through. All these do these sorts of things. I can work around it. That's like an inspirational thing. And like, why don't I also have to go from some big, big school? I don't have to go to a big college. I don't have to go to a big high school, sort of thing. It gives these people that were fighting for that and using that as context and as strength. It's like you're setting an even worse example for those sorts of people, and indirectly, you're going to cut off those opportunities for those people. Because you'll be like, okay, now people from this area act ignorant because this guy got given everything and he still acted ignorant. So I'm not going to take the risk for this kid, as a high school scout, on this 2-3 star guy from this area, when I go to get a 2-3 star guy from another area it's going to act right and not cause me any trouble. That's now what it's going to be, and is it fair? No, it's not fair. But is that how life is, especially for African Americans that are in positions of, what people will call fortunate positions or positions of power? Yes, it is. If one of us screws up, it can script the opportunity for a whole host of us that are waiting to try and get that opportunity. And that is super frustrating that he did it not once, but twice within a very short period of time. And in what seems to be, even with multiple people giving him the advice on what to do, on how to do it, on how to get help, if he needs to talk about it or has some sort of issue mentally with it, that's the reason why he's doing this. There to talk to him, and he's still just like, I'm gonna still do this stupid stuff. That is just being ignorant. Honestly, just being ignorant. Like, there's nothing else really to say about it. He's just ignorant and he's ungrateful for his position he's in. He does not realize the magnitude of the position he's in and how easily it can get gone. Go talk to Mike Vick. Go talk to Gilbert Arenas. They'll tell you how quickly it can get gone. Okay. Keep playing with your image, dude. Like, in the day, as an NBA star, you are your image. You are your image. As a celebrity and as an athlete, you are an entertainer, dude. You are an entertainer. You are getting paid for image. So if you don't want to take that part of your job seriously, then you must not want the job. At least that's what it looks like to everyone else. So it's disappointing for me.
You think anyone ever has added like an inhibition to like take their gun out and wave it around?
I don't know, man.
I can't not do it. No.
It's a spasm. It's a spasm.
What the fuck, we know. I have to. Come on, man. This man's making active decisions. All right.
He is. Active, terrible decisions.
Look, yeah.
If he's making a decision to do some dumb shit, he gets consequences for doing dumb shit. Can't be like, that's not me. Just like you said, cannot be, that's not me.
Yeah, it can be once. It can be, that's not my character, or bad decision, blah blah. One time, not twice. Not for us.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can't. So
yeah, he's already missed out on $40 million and a Powerade commercial because of it. So,
he's about to lose a lot more.
Yeah.
Career just getting started. But I mean, they'll put him out the league. They will put him out. Like it is what it is. Sad times. Don't be like John Morant, kids.
You're like Ben Simmons. No.
Yeah, be a bench rider that makes millions. That's how you need to keep your knees straight. My back hurt today, coach. My back hurt. Can't do it.
You need to be like Daniel the Millionaire. This is what you need.
Yeah, there you go.
No role model like DTM.
DTM. Okay. Yeah, you heard it here first. Don't be like Ja, be like Dan the Millionaire. So, I think there's no better place to leave it off than that. Hopefully, Ja will learn his lesson this time. I don't want him to have to go and learn the hard way, but some people don't learn any other way. I don't know, man. Hopefully, he gets it together. He has a lot of career ahead of him. So, anyway, thank you guys for tuning in again. It's another good episode, and we appreciate your viewing, listening on our conversation here today. No, really though. Thanks for procrastinating with us. We out.